Some common errors that people make when doing problems like this. First one is, what does x plus x equal? And so x plus x, if you have an x and you have an x, remember that's one x and one x, you have two x's. The mistake that people will make commonly is they'll say that x plus x is equal to x squared. That's not true. That's what x times x equals. Okay, so don't get mixed up with your adding and your multiplying. The next mistake people will make is they will often think that they can add x to the second plus x to the third and get x to the fifth. Okay, that's wrong. You cannot do that. Remember that when you're multiplying, you can combine anything you want, but when you're adding, you have to combine like terms. So remember that how you tell if things are like terms is you have to look at their variable parts. Okay, so I've got x on both of them, but to the second power and to the third power don't match. And if the variables don't match, it's just the same as if you're doing a plus b. That's just a plus b. So x to the second plus x to the third is just x to the second plus x to the third. There's nothing you can do with that. So another way to look at this is on the next slide. If you have x squared, this is geometrically what x squared looks like, x by x. And x cubed looks like x by x by x. That's x to the third power. And so if you are going to add them together, then that would be just putting them together. And what do you have? You have an x squared and an x cubed. And that's all. You can't put them together any more than that. So when you see something like x to the third power plus x to the first power, it's just x to the third power plus x to the first power. So remember, combining like terms. Okay, the next thing, and this is something we see an awful lot in problems like what you're going to be doing in this honors module, is people will take a problem like this and they will get the wrong thing on a really consistent basis. So really be careful with this. Let's go back and review something. If we have 3x to the second power like that, then remember that that means 3x times 3x, which is equal to 9x to the second power. So everybody seems to understand that okay. But then when we see something like what we see here, it's x plus 2 to the second power, which means x plus 2 times x plus 2. And so when you do your distributive property, and you combine like terms, and we write it in standard form, this is our answer. Now you might guess what the really common mistake is. The really common mistake is people will say, oh, well, I'm going to distribute the exponent, they think, and they end up with x squared plus 4. Well, you can't do that. Exponents don't distribute when there's a plus sign there, so you cannot do that. So it doesn't work like that. So even though some people want to take a shortcut there, I like to call it a stupid shortcut because it doesn't get you anywhere except to the wrong answer. So just one more example of that. If we have x minus 3 quantity squared, please make sure you write it out. Don't take a stupid shortcut. Make sure you write it out. You're going to use the distributive property, so that's x to the second power minus 3x plus 9, and so writing that in standard form, that's what you have. That's the correct answer. The wrong answer is x squared plus 9 or x squared minus 9. Wrong. So don't make those common errors.